Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Around the Tech, iPhone, Sex and Lies. Let's first start off with the biggest news of the week, the iPhone 4 launch. Apple claims that they sold 600,000 units before launch via pre-order, and has also stated that within the first 3 days of official sale, they've sold 1.7 million units. This is Apple's most successful product launch ever, according to Jobs, who we'll get to later in this show. iSupply reports that a 16GB iPhone 4 costs $188 in components. That's not factoring in R&D, manufacturing, or retail, but $188 in components for a 16GB phone, which retails for $199.99. Not a huge profit margin for Apple, but you do have to take into account that they are getting probably $300 to $400 in subsidy from AT&T per unit. Now, if you're still looking to get a phone, you have several choices. Starting on Tuesday, the 29th, AT&T corporate stores will begin accepting walk-ins. They're expected on Tuesday morning to be getting shipments at 7 and 11 and are supposed to get around 100 units per store. Now, if you want to try an Apple store, they get units periodically, but I suggest you ask to get on their priority list. Now, they won't tell you about the priority list unless you specifically ask them, but essentially, you get put on a reservation list, and when an iPhone comes in, you'll get matched to it, and then they'll send you an email to come pick it up. No lines, no hassle, so get on the priority list. But again, they won't ask you, so you have to ask them. Now, one of the biggest problems that iPhone 4 has had is reception issues. Now, Steve Jobs claims that this isn't an issue, although customer service reps have a different story. Now, if you have problems, they're going to be sending you a free bumper, which is Apple's $30 case to combat these issues. It's also rumored that iOS 4.0.1 is in the works to address these issues with reception. Although this seems like a hardware issue to me, so I'm not exactly sure how a software fix will improve the situation. Now, Nokia isn't holding back. They have a huge blog post over at Nokia Conversations saying that you can hold your Nokia device any way you want. This way, this way, this way, or any way, and you won't have reception issues. A little knock on Apple, don't you think? Now, the FaceTime Sex Network is launching. A Craigslist post in New York City is looking for beautiful women for a gentleman's FaceTime club. Essentially, they'll be providing women with a free iPhone unit as well as a very competitive price and salary for their services to please the customers. Moving away from Apple for a second, the second 4G phone from Sprint has been announced, the Samsung Epic, with a 1 GHz Cortex chip. This slider has a 4-inch AMOLED display with capacitive multi-touch, Android 2.1, a 5-megapixel camera with flash and autofocus, 16 gigabytes of storage on a removable micro SD card, a 6-axis motion sensor, and a front-facing camera for all the goodness you can possibly have with video chat. Now, for the question of the day, if you're an iPhone 4 user, have you been noticing these reception issues? Specifically, if you have, do you notice these issues in practice when you're actually using it, and has that caused you to lose connection or drop a call? Or have you only been able to get these problems when you're trying to reproduce the issue? I'd love to hear in the comments below, and in episode number 2, I'll feature some of the responses. Now for the deal of the day, Best Buy has the Western Digital Scorpio Blue 320GB hard drive for $35 with free shipping, which is a pretty competitive price for a 2.5-inch notebook drive. But since this is the inaugural episode of Around the Tech, I have 2 deals of the day for you. Also at Best Buy, you can get the wireless DJ Hero controller for only $19.99. So get your DJ on. Today's background is a Creative Commons piece from Flickr by Peter Gorgas. I'd like to thank Peter for the artwork in the background here, and I'd like to thank you for watching the first episode of Around the Tech. Again, we're at aroundthetech.com. I'm Michael Sherlock, and thanks for watching.